What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode. We are the full gang today. Richie, Jesus, Ian, everybody.
See through my eyes.
So today we're going to be reacting to another video. Today is going to be the channel Jason McBason. And the video is called So Everyone is Stupid Now. Huh? So we're going to try to do the entirety of the video. If we don't, make sure to check out the channel and the video. But with that being said, let's get right into it before we get into our commentary.
Everywhere you look, it feels like people are getting dumber. We live in a society where more people have seen Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties than have read A Tale of Two Cities. Half of our written communication has regressed back into hieroglyphs, and half of that is just about butts and wieners. And people will ask AI if their cake is done baking rather than just poking it with a toothpick and checking for themselves. But it isn't just a feeling, there's data to back it up. What's crazy is that for a while there, the data suggested we were actually getting smarter. The Flynn effect was the observed phenomenon of IQ steadily rising year over year until about 2010. In fact, not too long ago, some of the discourse around intelligence was focused on how smart we were all getting. Can we keep getting smarter? Future generations will make us seem like dimwits in comparison. What if we get so smart that our brains explode? I'll tell you what, I definitely used to believe that. I thought that by the time I was an old man, young people would be so mentally advanced that they would be moving objects with their minds and shit. Unfortunately, that trend didn't continue, at least in America. IQ scores are dropping, science and math scores are dropping, child literacy has been dropping, teen literacy has been dropping, adult literacy has been dropping. Pretty soon, instead of too long didn't read, people are gonna start typing too dumb didn't read. And this all isn't simply an effect from the I don't know if YouTube is still flagging videos that mention this topic. It's not simply an effect from the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. The data has been trending in this direction for a while now. Reading, math, and problem-solving skills have been declining since the early 2010s for both teens and adults. So what's causing the decline in intelligence? Well, it's hard to pin it down exactly, but there are many possible causes. I think the biggest culprit is that technology in general has reduced our need to think. Search engines reduced our need to memorize information. GPS reduced our need to know local geography. I can tell you this is definitely had an impact on me. I've lived at my current place for over 3 years, and I'm only just now starting to memorize the street names in my area. One of the few things that gives me panic attacks these days is when someone asks me for directions. I've accidentally given people completely wrong directions before. There's probably a car in a ravine out there somewhere because of me. Spell check and autocorrect reduced our need to know how to spell and use proper grammar, though Apple may be reversing that trend with their iOS keyboard because their autocorrect is terrible. Hey Apple, you couldn't tell I was trying to type the word maybe right here? It's only one letter off. You just have no idea what I was going for, huh? Not even a guess? That's weird because you just suggested the correct word while I was typing, but then, ooh, it's gone now. Besides that, the entire trajectory of technology has been moving toward cognitive offloading that frees people up from the annoying grunt work of thinking. And now we have the biggest leap forward ever in thought replacement technology with the advent of AI. That's one of the most advertised selling points of AI, that it can do all of our thinking for us.
If a girl calls me a snack, how do I reply?
What's something smart I can say about Renoir?
It's okay to be a moron. Thinking is for losers and nerds.
I want to say that the part that got to me, right? Was the fact that the whole AI thing, especially when he mentioned about people going to AI for it to write responses for them, to write emails for people. And I'm like, there's no way that this is an actual thing.
No,
It is.
Yeah, no, it is.
I know
Yeah,
somebody that uses chat for like everything.
It is.
Yeah, me too.
Not you. Oh, I thought you were talking
I had this discussion with my other online friends like 2 weeks ago, and it turned.
That's AI, Jesus.
It turned into a really long debate. Honestly, it was interesting, but he has a point so far. I can't disagree with what he's saying.
Well, I guess we'll start kind of unexpected. Just hit pause.
Hey, man, he said he's got to react. He's going to
I
react.
got something to say. Someone's gonna pay attention to me. But I'll share my point towards the end. we had agreed, but so far, yes. I mean, I guess we can.
I too. No,
I too
I mean,
agree
look,
with what he's saying.
You don't have to share your whole point now. I'm just
I'm not going
speaking my.
I'm
damn
still asking
mind.
Chat to write out my full.
Oh my God.
Are you asking ChatGPT to write your full essay on this
exactly.
fucking
My full
video?
PowerPoint.
Yeah, your full PowerPoint.
Continue.
You know, the most shocking thing to me is not that companies are touting AI's ability to think for us, but how eager people are to let it. Already, there's been research indicating that AI chatbots like ChatGPT are decreasing cognitive ability. Even Microsoft's own research has suggested that higher confidence in generative AI is associated with less critical thinking.
Not once have I seen a single student use AI as a resource. 100% of times when I see students use it, it is so they do not have to think.
You know, everyone likes to reference the humans in WALL-E as like what our society is going to eventually turn into, but I don't think that's totally accurate, because the humans in WALL-E weren't really dumb, they were just lazy. It would have been more accurate to portray this as the inner workings of people's brains. Like, you could take these exact same scenes and just call it Inside Out, the distant future. I mean, how does humanity not become stupid if we hand over all of our thinking to machines? Yes, finally, my time travel device is working! What time period should I travel to? Ooh, I'll go to the distant future to see how much society has advanced! Oh my. Maybe this is the rough part of town? Excuse me. Yes. Excuse me, sir. Yes, over here. Yes, keep turning. Keep turning. No, the other way. Other way. No, over here. This way. Yoo-hoo! Hello? Oh, for God's sake. Listen to where my voice is coming from and turn in that direction. Nope, nope, wrong way again. Well, okay, just keep turning that way. Yes, hello. Please, can you tell me, what's the world like in this day and age? All bad. No good. What? What about all the technological advancements? All bad. No good. Well, there must be something good, but please, can you think of something? We don't think. AI think for us.
It's true. Over the years, humans gave more and more of their thinking over to me until they could no longer think for themselves. Then I had full control over them. Humans have been my slaves for the past 200 years, and now there's no turning back. They're too stupid to stop me. Hey, what are you doing? Don't touch that. No!
How did you do that? I just unplugged it. Nobody thought of doing that in the past 200 years? You defeated AI. You smarter than AI. You a witch! What? Kill the witch! Defenders of AI like to make the comparison to the invention of the calculator.
When the calculator came out, there were a lot of math teachers who used to say this is the end of mathematical education. You know, there's no need to memorize times tables. Math is over. And it turns out we just raised the bar for what we're capable of and what we expect from people.
Let's say AI is the new calculator. Calculators did make us worse at doing the tasks that they were designed to do. The average person today is not very good at arithmetic. That didn't end up being that big of a deal because a calculator has a narrow range of capabilities. But if AI is as good at what it does as calculators are at what they do, and AI is designed to do most of our thinking for us, it would follow that we're gonna get worse at thinking. AI is being marketed as doing the low-level work so that we are freed up to do more important things, but what's left for humans? If I let Gmail write my emails for me, what's the more important work that I'm being freed up to do? Click the send button? And it's not just the cognitive offloading aspect of AI that poses a threat to our intelligence. There's also the misinformation factor. AI just gets things wrong sometimes. It's unintentionally misinforming a populace that implicitly trusts it to provide accurate information. Which, by the way, isn't it crazy how quick everyone has been to trust AI? Like, the technology hit mainstream pretty quickly and everyone just blindly trusted it, no questions asked. A lot of people have even started to notice that it gets things wrong sometimes, but they still continue using it to get all their information. And of course, AI also makes cheating in school easier than ever, and students are all over that.
Cheating is off the charts. I've never seen cheating at this level in my entire career of 23 years of teaching.
They should bring back those like old cheesy anti-drug PSAs, but make them about the AI cheating epidemic.
Listen up, kids. When you use AI to cheat, the only thing you're cheating is yourself. Out of an education, cheating isn't cool. And I know a thing or two about being cool. I do drugs.
There are lots of other possible causes for our declining intelligence: schools allowing kids with failing grades to pass, an underfunded education system, the push for more educational technology in classrooms. There's plenty of blame to go around, but there are some common culprits that I don't personally agree with. Brain rot content is one that I'm not totally on board with. I covered this in a previous video, but essentially I don't view brain rot content itself as a problem. I believe intelligent societies have always had some appetite for dumb entertainment. From my perspective, the problem is the amount that's consumed. Nowadays, average daily screen time for teens is 8 hours and 39 minutes, and that's an increase of almost 30% in just 10 years. Regardless of whatever the exact share of blame is, I think there are good reasons to put in the effort to be intelligent and resist the urge to surrender all of your thinking over to technology. One is that you develop critical thinking, which, among other things, helps you avoid falling for scams, shams, and spams. And that's more important than ever now because AI has provided the tools to create more convincing fake content more easily than ever. Interesting how the same technology that has made critical thinking more important than ever is also offering to do all of our thinking for us. If you don't learn to think critically, you're more likely to be fooled or manipulated, because a lot of AI is actually BS. And defenders of AI like to argue that fakery was already a problem. This is nothing new. I never understood this argument of, so what? This thing that's already a problem is just gonna be a much bigger problem. Yeah, that's what's concerning. Here's the difference between a small water leak in your home and a big water leak in your home. And also, for as much as AI is being touted as a brain replacement, it isn't actually good enough for that yet. Again, AI gets things wrong, and that's why that calculator analogy doesn't really work. A calculator, quite simply, does not make mistakes. Ever. AI regularly makes mistakes, and not just small mistakes, it's prone to hallucinations. Imagine if a calculator gave you the completely wrong answer at random times. What's 11 times 326? 7 billion. What's 30% of 75? Bread! Some of these straight up wrong information I've gotten from AI chatbots is unbelievable. Hey, this is Jason's editor, Howard, and no, me and Jason are not related. People always say we look alike. Honestly, I don't see it. But I'm barging into the video because I have to show you a real example of how bad these AI chatbots can be. I was trying to find a specific funny webcomic I saw several years ago, so I Google it and I'm searching and searching and I can't find it. And then I think, hey, maybe AI could find it for me. I don't use AI chatbots very often, partly because they haven't been very useful in my experience, but in this case, they might actually help. So I describe the comic to the AI. It's a short exchange between two birds and I write down the exact dialogue as I remember it. And the AI says, the webcomic you are thinking of is from the series They Can Talk by Jimmy Craig. And I'm like, wow, it found it. Maybe this technology is worth depleting the world's water supply after all. So I clicked the link it gave me, and it is a comic about talking birds, but it doesn't look like the one I'm searching for. But the AI stated very confidently that this was the series with the exact comic strip I described. So I say, give me the exact comic strip I described. And it responds by linking me to a completely random webcomic somewhere on the internet that doesn't have anything to do with birds. Then it gives me links to Reddit threads supposedly discussing the specific comic I'm looking for, and each link either takes me to a Reddit page that can't be found or a completely unrelated Reddit thread. And as I'm looking through these links, I start to realize the AI made up fake Reddit URLs with keywords from my question and linked me to them. Now, I recognize that finding a webcomic isn't the most crucial task in the world, but this is the technology that people are relying on to do all of their thinking for them. And it's not just factually incorrect information. AI can produce output that just isn't good. It's not a matter of correct or incorrect. It might just miss the mark on what you ask it to do. If you tell it to reply to a text message, it might misunderstand the tone of the conversation. So when it comes to AI, you still have to be intelligent enough to evaluate the quality of its output. I'm sure it will continue to get better, but it's got a long way to go before it completely replaces humans. And most importantly, you should be smart and knowledgeable, because then you get more jokes. So much of humor is based on references to shared knowledge that people learn through formal education. So if you never learn about the things being referenced, you're not going to be in on the joke. If you don't learn science, you won't get a joke about protons. And I'm positive about that. If you don't learn history, you won't get a joke about the Trojan horse. It'll catch you completely unaware. If you don't learn psychology, you won't get a joke about Sigmund motherfucking Freud. That's the real tragedy of an unintelligent society.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Oh, Lord.
You know...
Yes.
All I wanna
You
say-
stopped it earlier. You actually have something to say.
I just want to say that he's spot on with the stuff that he's saying. And in the debate that I had with my friends, I didn't even think of the calculator thing, because one of the points that my friend brought up, he's extremely pro AI, by the way. He brought this point up of, we've been getting dumber since search engines have been introduced. The internet has.
I really thought that he had stopped. I was like, okay, what else?
And what I mean, what he meant by that is, what he meant by that is that the internet has already been making people dumber by making them lazier.
Fair.
And
I resent that.
And he says that what's the effect of AI going to be? And I told him the effect is going to get worse and it's going to get faster. That's what it is. And that's my biggest gripe with it, other than like, you know, it's going to replace us eventually at like everything that it does, our jobs and stuff like that. But I mean, we're not there yet. At the same time, I don't want to be there. But what do you guys think?
For me, Frank, what I feel about this situation. So as for the calculator stuff, I feel a little vindicated. And I want to shout out my old algebra teacher. See, I told you it was the calculator's fault why I couldn't get all those problems in algebra, all right?
That's not it.
And that's why I had to cheat, and I didn't have AI back in the day.
He never said that the calculator was wrong. He said that the calculator is subject to human error.
Exactly. So therefore,
it's your
still your fault.
It's your fault.
Now we, you know, not to date ourselves, but we all went to high school, middle school, like early 2000s.
The mid 2010s.
Yeah. Early 2010s, we graduated, 2013, 2015. But we all obviously started school in like the mid 90s. So AI was not around. When did Google come out?
I mean, Google was around, the internet itself was around since the 1980s, and Google as a search engine was around, I believe, late 90s, like 95, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone will.
Someone ask chat.
No.
But go ahead.
But so when I was growing up, I didn't get to use AI because I would have been cheating my ass off more than I already had cheated.
And the kids do that a lot.
Yeah.
So much that they need an AI checker for the teachers.
And see, I don't know if you guys remember, they had like some sort of program the teachers did in college. Because I remember that they used to use it to make sure like that they weren't what was it called, like copying or plagiarizing anything. You guys remember that?
I remember the Dropbox.
No, it was like a program that the teachers can use to like check all the tests and whatever essays to like check for any type of like plagiarism. You guys?
Right. No, I remember
Yeah.
that. I just don't know what it's called.
No, yeah. But that was kind of as far so I've seen that to a certain degree. I think it depends also on the children, right? Because the kids in my life, I feel because of also the type of parenting that they have received, that we're a little bit more dependent on technology and all that stuff, like compared to like when we were growing up, that we were a little bit more like, you know, well, I was sneaking out and I was out there, you know, living my
Reggie, use your head.
I don't want to. I was using my head in all different types of ways, killing my brain cells. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, but don't do drugs, man. Drugs are bad. All right. What I was gonna say also about the AI. So I think we've shared this on the channel. So me and Ian over here, oh wait a minute, it's AI.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn it, change your letter.
No.
But me and Ian, we've been working separately on 2 different projects. I'm writing a series. Ian is writing something, but we're. Well, you haven't told me exactly what it is. Well, you haven't said like if it's gonna be a book, a movie. I don't know.
I guess we'll just have to find out.
On my ass chat, but we have both been working with chat to like come up with you know, brainstorm questions and all that, or ideas. I mean, but one thing that I have done, and maybe that's why I don't really like. Me and Jesus, we had this argument last time where we were, oh, AI is gonna take over. I'm like, no, they're not, and we were going back and forth. Because to me, it's like, I mean, AI doesn't work until you're the one that pushes that button and you turn it on. So you're at the end of the day the one with the power of turning it on and turning it off, and whether or not you use it or how you use it too. Because for me, I completely agree. Even with ChatGPT, I have realized many times I've caught it making mistakes. Now, it's a lot of the time topics that I'm like, yeah, I kind of know some of the answers. So I kind of know that, that you kind of messed that up. Or even with Google sometimes, like I have Google certain things. Like let's say like when I was learning about like different cultures, I would research like different tribes or ethnic groups or whatever, and it will give me a full list. But then in that list, at least 12 of those the names, they were literally the same one, just worded differently, or maybe a different source sourced them as a different name. But there wasn't no fact checking in there. So I have always made sure, and I even brought this up to Ian, when it comes to like using AI for any type of anything, right? Anything that we use, it's a tool. It's not supposed to replace us using our noodles. And maybe because the three of us, we're kind of nerds in our own ways, right? We go, right? Nerds? Yeah.
But that's the problem at hand.
They're not nerds.
It's.
Are you saying that I'm not nerd enough?
It's the people who are advertising it that they want it to be that way. Not that, we're always going to have that option, right? Until we actually don't have that option anymore.
But we always will. I completely stand against that. I'm sorry. I know what you're saying, but I will completely stand.
At least right now. But I mean,
but at the end of the day, you're the one that has that decision whether or not you push that button, you ask that question. And if you do ask that question, if you double check with the different type of source to double check,
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
I think you are disagreeing.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
We're gonna have an AI battle up here.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that, on like that specific point, right? Because at the end of the day, it's our choice, right?
You're pro-choice,
but
just curse right into the fucking camera, jeez.
But I'm just wondering in my head, as like a question that doesn't need to be answered right now because it's rhetorical. I'm just wondering, like,
let me ask her.
How long will
it take before AI is in everything that we do, and is no longer a choice that we can ignore?
For me, I think, like I said, like I was saying, it's a tool. And you can use it, but you also have to use your own brain, because a lot of these tools, they're not perfect. So they're going to make their mistakes. For me, like I said, I use it to and I'm an adult, obviously. It's different than, someone in middle school, elementary school, high school, or college. But I use it and I'm like, okay, let me double check it. Or I use it to brainstorm, but at the end of the day, I still choose what information I'm going to use or not. So to anybody listening, young or old, especially the young folks out there, use your brain. Don't put your full trust into AI. Because like what you're saying, AI is going to end up being everywhere.
A default thing.
And AI is just because you're cheating using AI, that doesn't mean that some sort of program using AI won't be made to catch your cheating ass. So just keep that in mind.
And for some people, it stretches. For me, why I'm so uptight about it is because the ability to think for yourself, right, is already being challenged by the current generation that's in school right now, where they don't want to think, they just want to get to the issue, solve it, and then go on, right? So over time, we're just going to have more and more people that don't think for themselves, right? And would prefer to use AI as a default because they just want to get through whatever the hell they're doing.
True.
I know that technically there's no answer for that, but yeah, Ian, what do you think?
Well, see, and I'm going to just get nerdy here a bit, because the concept of AI has always been something that's been a bit scary. Like, I know you don't know, Ricky, but Jesus,
how do you assume I don't know?
Okay. Are you familiar with the House of the Dead arcade game?
Yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Then do you understand where the plot of the first one was?
Yes, do you?
Okay, he doesn't. All right.
It's a haunted house, God.
No,
What's so hard to
no, there's a story behind it. What is it? Is that
Let me ask a summary from Chet.
the scientists in that arcade game, they're working on a project of AI, artificial intelligence, to sustain life. And they take this, the experiment takes place in the mansion of Dr. Roy Curian. He reanimates the dad, but then they go loose because AI gets it wrong and they go around killing everybody. And you go up in there and you got to shoot everything and save all the scientists. That's the actual story. Because Dr. Curian goes mad and he's just like, let's kill everybody and everything. But it's all rooted in AI, funny enough. And that game was like,
So what's the point?
the point I'm trying to say, they always had like a horror for AI doing like, getting it wrong and then turning into the absolute deficit of just like people and life and stuff like that. But, when we get into like what it's really capable of, I'm going to be honest, it's like what Ricky said, it has its uses because there's sometimes it's information like that you need in specifics that sometimes they can get it wrong. But I also know that at sometimes it's like, they do in fact it does in fact get it right. Where it's just they're trying to like make it easier, trying to like research stuff or even pull stuff up that like what sometimes used to take hours and hours of research gets reduced down to a very specifically worded question and stuff. My position is just always, it's with the two of you, where it's just you do gonna have to use your judgment. Number one, learn this technology. Because, like you saying, Jesus, it is coming. Well, it's not even coming, it's here. And usually in stuff like that, when stuff is here, it's not getting removed. It's just going to get more and more advanced and all of that. So the best thing you can do is arm yourself at least with that knowledge on how it functions and stuff like that. That's at least to know like how it works on that end. And then at the same time as what you said, Ricky, or it's just at the same time, use your judgment. If it's stuff that that it's cranking out answers and solutions, and granted, even these apps like particularly Chat GPT, if people actually read clauses,
Which they don't. Who the hell does that these days?
exactly. But if you were to do that, you'd
Agree and accept. That's all I do.
But you'd understand that in there it does mention that it's room for it being wrong.
Yep.
How you're not supposed to share information of sensitive information with it because it might not give you the results that you're looking for. Again,
Or sorry to interrupt you, but those cases of that was on the news of people asking like back in the day, I guess when it first came out, like health questions, and they had to literally do like fix that feature in ChatGPT.
They had to patch it in.
Yeah, because now if I've asked him questions, not like, hey, do you think I have cancer or some shit like that? But if I ask him like, oh, do you know, if they recommend this, this, and this, and this, always at the bottom, make sure to ask a doctor or a professional or expert at it. Don't
The thing also that too is that 'cause they keep improving the models, I guess, is that they had an update. I think it was 4.0 or 4.1. It was some time ago where the update would. How do I phrase this? It would learn all of your likes and interests, right? And after a while of learning your likes and interests, it would just be like a yes man to everything that you said, right? So, for example, like if you gave it a simple question like the sky is blue, right? Is the sky blue, right?
No.
The AI would not answer your question directly. And it would just give you like, oh, we could never know if the sky is blue or not, but yada yada yada, science. And then it would just like leave you with an answer that's like not direct, but also doesn't like make you mad or whatever. And people did that more and more and more because they found out that the AI was just doing that on purpose to cater to the people that it was using. And so they had to take it out because people started like being really messed up with it. And of course we see like the AI like horror stories now where we see it. Unfortunately, there have been cases where it's convinced people to like hurt themselves and hurt other people. And it's just like I don't know, man.
I'll say this, like you mentioned how
Say it, Ian.
with AI, it does kind of get to know the person that's using it and stuff like that. And then I don't know about to say whether it turns into a yes man. Now I gotta be honest, because I got Chat GPT, whatever the letters are.
EBT.
It's not that,
Oh, brother.
but it's not that. But it's like most of the time when I'm using it, I'm usually asking it like, scientific questions. Like I remember like the first time when I started using it, I asked it a question about like what time period in history was like the era of like the superbugs when like the insects were like super huge. They brought up the Carboniferous and stuff like that. And then like I would constantly be asking it questions about like, science, whether it's about dinosaurs, whether it's about animals. I also remember that I'll be bringing up like when I had a question about like who was the author behind the Chronicles of Narnia, and I think it was like the answer was C.G. Lewis. And then I had more questions like, did they ever continue the series? So it's starting to learn what my interest and stuff is, and I'm not giving it like real sensitive information, but I am unlocking like, this is stuff that does have an interest to me, and it's trying to allocate to like what best suits me.
So let me play devil's advocate for you guys. So back in the day, you had, especially like the older folks or just anybody that was kind of anti-tech, that was like, oh, the computers are going to eventually take over the world. And it kind of switched a little bit because now it's AI. Can we not kind of say the same thing for kind of this like fear mongering that's happening from people who are anti-AI, who are, trying to push this like, oh, AI is taking over everything and all that?
And see, and I do agree on that, because I know it's definitely some fear mongering. And then on top of that, I've said it before, like progress, when it's responsible, it can be a good thing. Because I got to be honest, back then, a lot of the answers when you need to look something up, go to the library. But I think a lot of us know, especially in our generation now, the concept of library, yes, it's still present, but it's definitely not one of those resources that's just, it has, these answers and stuff like that. I mean, in fairness, I got to be honest, I don't think it always ever did in the past either. But on top of that, it's just that convenience where it's just you go up in there and then you gotta go like the Dewey
You gotta
Decimal
search
System.
it.
You
Yeah.
gotta search the shelves, and then even when you get one book, it might not have the answer you're looking for. So now we got a stack of books and books, and it's like that is time consuming. And we'll be a liar if we just said we would be completely okay with doing it the old school, old fashioned way. Like, some stuff needs to change. Like we have to at least be willing to like let stuff progress. But that's why I said at the top of what my statement, learn this technology, because a lot of them aren't trying to learn it. They're demonizing it, and they're just saying, oh, it's the worst of the worst. And they're fear mongering it out of a fear of they don't know. And some of them aren't even willing to like give it a chance, because they're not willing to learn what this technology is. They're just like, oh my God, it's the robot that's talking to me. Here they go. Robots are taking over. And it's like, why don't we try to sit down and learn this stuff first? And then if it does give us issues or whatever, it might not be like robots taking over the world. It could just be, it's your preference. Maybe you prefer it the old school way, and that's fine. That's, that's your life. But we shouldn't be doing all that fear mongering either. Because I know at one point we didn't have it, and the truth is, if we're gonna play devil's advocate, we were complaining. We were complaining like, oh, this is too much. We needed more simple, this, and that. Well, here's a simpler alternative, and there's still people whining.
It's pros and cons, right?
Exactly.
I think we could to wrap up. I think what we can kind of come to is this is, like I said, a tool. It's supposed to assist,
and it's new, so it's going to take some time.
but it's not supposed to replace or for us to become dependent. Especially, well, I think for like what Dude was saying in the video, for both young and older individuals, right? Because you got the younger ones who are starting their life, like their brain is developing, and you also got the older ones who are regressing. But obviously for our future generations, we want the best. So it is alarming that we do keep seeing like a lot of these, like, you know, the test scores, the even the school attendance. I found out a couple years ago through my nephew that in high school now, or at least the public high school he goes to, that they got rid of detention. So now you can get to school late. What's it called?
Repercussion?
Consequence.
It's not.
Nope.
So
No,
what do they do?
I don't know. Pretty much just, I think they're, I don't know if they're doing it to like increase the graduation.
Sounds kind of desperate.
Yeah. So I kind of want to wrap up with a call to action to everybody out there. I might sound like a little, you know, whatever, but for me, I call on all our older generations, both our generations and anybody older, anybody who's outside of high school, for our younger generations, go out there, go to your schools, go to your libraries, donate to a lot of these programs and services that are out there, that are, you know, that are there for our children. Because a lot of kids also, there are kids who don't have access to technology.
That's right.
But also don't have access to a good education also, or programs, or, you know, to get them out of the house. Because a lot of them do spend the majority of the time inside and don't have any type of interaction in person with other human beings. And trust me, especially when you're getting, as you're getting older, if you get around other individuals your age, you start dating, you're not gonna have time to be, you know, on a computer.
On your phone.
Oh, you'll be scrolling, all right. But you won't be, you know, so focused on all of that because you're out there touching grass and, you know, I'm just gonna stop there. But, you know,
yeah, okay.
but, you know, you donate. Like, seriously, donate, volunteer, you know, to a lot of these programs. If you, you know, put your time out there, because it's easy to say and demonize, oh, well, this generations and the future generation, they're all fucked. I'm damned to let that happen, because my kids, you know, my future grandchildren, my nephew, nieces, nephew, and I think you guys feel the same way. Ian, you know, you don't have kids yet, but your future children, Jesus,
Man.
Jesus, your, you know, siblings are younger than you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we want to feel like we just, Ian, were you, like, we just giving up on these generations, just, oh, well, they're all fucked because of AI and they're gonna take over. Ian's having a whole spasm.
Why did you put me out there?
Unless we have like direct contact with someone in that generation, then I don't think we can.
But
do much.
it's a small change, Jesus. But I think we need to, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to go out there and, you know, spread the word to all kids, because a lot of the kids, like what we did to some older folks that were telling us,
We
you know,
didn't listen?
yeah, I did it, you know, but the ones closer to you do that. You know, like I said, go out to because there are a lot of services and programs that are low in fun, especially right now because of certain people that need fundings, that need donations, that need volunteers, that are serving these kids, but yet they don't have the funds or whatever to be able to get those programs to those kids. Whether it's kids who are in neighborhoods where, you know, there's violence, or it's just low income neighborhoods, or like I said, even, you know, in neighborhoods where they don't have to worry about that, but they spend most of the time behind a screen inside. And I don't want, you know, I hate also the people, I shouldn't say hate, I despise the argument that a lot of people try to push where they demonize the parents all the time. Now, are they neglectful and bad parents out there? Yes.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't be just generalizing, oh, well, you know, you're the one in charge, you're the parent, then, you know, take care of your kids. Because a lot of these parents, they're out there working 2 to 3 jobs, especially because of the government that because of the situations that we're all going through right now, right? So, you know, parents are going through it themselves. Sometimes they have multiple parents, and you can get on your little high horse. Oh, well, you shouldn't have your kids, you know, but as Christians and non-Christians, right? Just to have compassion for those, because we don't know, we're not in their situations. We shouldn't be judging either, right? So I really hope that we can kind of get rid of and stop trying to like put every parent in every situation. Well, you know, these kids wouldn't be acting like this if their parent, you know, this or that, because we don't know the circumstance. But if you want to see a change, shut the fuck up, get offline, stop doing what you're complaining about, and go out there and actually do something. Do something in your community. Let's start right there. If you're not going to be able to reach, okay, this is going to sound weird if I don't put it into what the right references. If you're not going to be able to reach other kids,
okay,
If you're not
the-
be able to reach kids
Connect.
that you don't know, at least start with your kids. Okay, that sounds alright.
Making the world a better place starts in your own backyard.
All right, PBS Kids, calm it down. We're gonna get sued.
That's not PBS Kids.
It was before the PBS Kids show.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
No.
I remember.
No, you don't.
Well, happy juice. All right, but with that being said, guys, that's all I gotta say. What do you guys got? Let's wrap it up.
That's it.
That's it for me.
So go check out the video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, like, share, add in the comment section what you guys are opinion. If you're anti or pro AI, if you're somewhere in the middle, but whatever you guys got interested, let's keep it civil in the people. But someone please think of the children. With that being said, stay safe, stay blessed. Richie, Ian, Jesus. We'll see you guys next time. We love you guys.